A very warm welcome to Gbslep's AGM 2023. My name is Satnam Rana Grindley and I'm the Marketing, Communications and External Affairs Director for Gbslep. This is a public meeting and it is being recorded. Thank you for joining us here from wherever you are. So our AGM usually focuses on the work that we have done in the year to date, but this year's AGM is slightly different. You heard from us last time in November 2022. Today's update will be on the activity that has taken place to date. Now, the reason for this is that we're closing Gbslep down and we will not exist as an organisation beyond March 2024. We'll have more on this from our Chief Executive and our Chair in a short while. But first, some housekeeping. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, please head over to the Q&A tab at the top of the Teams webinar. We have disabled the chat function, so you can submit your questions via that Q&A tab. We'll do our best to answer all of your questions in today's session. If we don't get round to answering those questions, we will upload the answers onto our website in due course. So before we get our proceedings underway, a reminder then that Gbslep has been operating for 12 years, working towards our mission of creating the best city region by raising the quality of life for all of our residents and creating jobs. It's been a fantastic year and a fantastic decade or so. So to share some highlights with you, we'll be going over to Henriette Bruckler in a short while. But first, over to our chair, Anita Bala, who's going to tell us why Gbslep is closing down and what we've done since our last AGM. Anita.
Thank you, Satnam, and thank you for joining us wherever you are. As Satnam said, this is our final AGM. The Greater Birmingham and Solihull Local Enterprise Partnership is a limited company, limited by guarantee of its remaining founding members, that's Birmingham City Council and Solihull Metropolitan Borough Council. The activities that the LEP has undertaken are governed by the National and Local Growth Assurance Framework, which is set out by the Department of Levelling Up, Housing and Communities. We've got a board of non-executive directors who are made up of leaders from our two local authorities, that's Birmingham and Solihull, the private sector and representative from higher education. In early 2022, the Levelling Up White Paper set out the government's decision to integrate local enterprise partnerships into locally democratic elected bodies. This change in government policy meant that we had to reduce our geography. The areas we served then were 9 local authorities and 2 major authorities. We had to reduce that down. And while these changes came into effect in April of this year, the decision at that time didn't really go down very well with our partners, but we had no alternative but to implement government policy. We've been assessing the implications of this change in government policy and collaborating closely with key partners such as the West Midlands Combined Authority, Birmingham City Council and Solihull Metropolitan Borough Council. And the reason for this collaboration has been that we really wanted to safeguard the continuity of vital services to our region's businesses and communities. 2022-23 has been a year of change, but we continue to deliver activities which you'll hear about later. The West Midlands Combined Authority has decided not to provide funding for LEPs, so after extensive deliberations, the Gbslep Board of Directors decided to continue certain LEP functions into 22-23, that's such as our EU-funded programmes and business support services, and to fully close down the company by the end of March 2024. So due to our robust financial position, we have the reserves to continue our operations and wind them down in March next year. By March next year, we will be entering into so-called members' voluntary liquidation. This means that we will close as solvent business. Our healthy financial position and prudent financial management has enabled us to successfully complete the last of our European-funded programmes and ensured that our staff and functions have been given the best chance to transfer to other bodies. The Gbslep transition plan was signed off by the LEP board in January this year and submitted to government by the combined authority. So a series of transfer deeds were drawn up by us to facilitate the smooth transition of some of our functions and to ensure proper governance and legal requirements were met. The transfers have been off the Growth Hub Central Hub to West Midlands Combined Authority. This included the transfer of staff and consented data. The business, financial and professional sector and Supertech contract went to Birmingham City University. The transfer of our legacy programmes, such as a growth fund and enterprise zone fund, to Birmingham City Council, and that's all been taking place. As you can imagine, the transfer of these functions has involved negotiations, governance, and legal agreements, and our executive team, with the guidance of our excellent board, have executed this work with professionalism and due diligence. As our operations wind down, a small team will ensure the smooth closing of Gbslep as we enter a members' voluntary liquidation. Any remaining funds will go back to our accountable body, that's Birmingham City Council. I'd like to say a big thank you again to our excellent executive team for showing great resilience and commitment to delivering essential services to our businesses and communities. And my thanks to our board of directors who steered us through uncertainty and change. Thank you all. The work that's happened over the many years could not have happened without any of you. So please carry on sending us your questions. For now, I'd like to hand over to Hen, our Chief Executive Officer.
Thank you very much, Anita. And I will just talk you through some of the highlights and activities that we've delivered in the period April 2022 to now, as we continue to drive sustainable and inclusive economic growth. And we have really three key delivery themes, and that's placemaking, employment and skills, and business and innovation. In placemaking, we have delivered large-scale capital programs and thought leadership to create vibrant and effective places for our communities to work and live in, and our businesses to thrive in. Our strategic thought leadership in 2022-23 included piloting cultural action zones and managing major capital programs. We managed the enterprise zone, including investments in Alexander Stadium and readiness for the Commonwealth Games, and phase 2 of Paradise, part of the transformation of Birmingham City Centre. It also included monitoring the impact of the 207 million local growth fund. We have exceeded all targets and have so far created and safeguarded over 20,000 jobs, completed over 6,000 housing units, and assisted more than 25,500 learners in courses that have led to full qualifications. We always try to maximise the impact of our funding. In 2012, we were awarded a £22.5 million Growing Places Fund by government. We distributed part of that fund in the form of loans and so-called repayable grants that were repaid when certain milestones were met. This recycled money has been used to support additional projects and generate additional impact. In late 2022, we used £3 million of recycled money to invest in projects supporting young people and clean growth. This included the Clean Growth Grants, helping businesses take measures to cut their energy use, cut their bills and their carbon emissions. The programme has been a huge success. The independent evaluation report shows that 92 local businesses were supported with a grant. Over £670,000 was paid out in grant funding. Over £1.5 million private sector match funding was raised. And over 10 years, the expected return on investment is £35 for every pound of grant invested. Young people projects that we supported through this call include the Construction Centre in Redditch, the Construction College in Northfield, the Ladder Academy, and many more. Due to the government's decision to integrate LEP functions into local democratically elected institutions, our placemaking function ended at the end of March 2023. Our placemaking boards were stood down and relevant staff were transferred or made redundant. Our second key delivery theme is employment and skills. Our ESF-funded Skills Hub project has exceeded all its targets ahead of its closure in December. It has delivered training needs analyses to over 200 businesses to help them retain and retrain staff and create a pipeline of employment opportunities, including apprenticeships. Gbslep also continued to manage Birmingham City Council's apprenticeship levy transfer programme for the benefit of local small and medium-sized enterprises and supported a number of local initiatives, including Gen 22, enabling local young people from all backgrounds to engage with the Commonwealth Games as paid staff or a volunteer capacity. We also supported Birmingham City Council's Partnerships for People and Place pilot. The project helped up to 200 disadvantaged young people in East Birmingham to transition from full-time education into work or further training via one-to-one progression coaching. As part of the project, Gbslep delivered a reverse mentoring pilot scheme, building connections between young people and local businesses. Young people mentored business owners and managers to improve the way employers engage, attract, recruit, and retain young candidates. Gbslep also delivered the Better Your Future event in November 2022, where employers of all sizes met with undergraduates to share knowledge and careers advice. The skills workstream will come to an end at the end of December 2023, and relevant staff will be made redundant. Our third key delivery theme is business and innovation and providing support to local small and medium-sized enterprises. Since it was established, our Gbslep Growth Hub has helped over 9,700 businesses, delivered 41,000 hours of support and over 63,000 individual interventions, made over 15,000 external referrals, organised events attended by over 1,200 businesses, and in the last 3 years alone, raised over £8 million of finance for local business. The service was funded by the European Regional Development Fund until the end of June 2023. Since then, the team have worked with Birmingham City Council and Solihull Metropolitan Borough Council to continue to deliver business support for the local business community. The team will transfer to Birmingham City Council on the 1st of December to continue their services within the newly established Business Growth West Midlands. I am really proud of the way in which our team has continued to deliver vital services and delivered programmes and projects for the benefit of the people and the businesses of this region. I want to thank our Board of Directors and our Chair for their support and their guidance, and thank you also to all those who supported our sub-boards, our advisory groups, our committees, and who have partnered with us. This has been a genuine collaborative effort. We hope our legacy of partnership working will continue way beyond our existence, and we know that our investments will continue to benefit our businesses and people for many years to come.
Henrietta, thank you very much. And I have to apologise because I did say Henriette at the top of this broadcast. It is Henrietta Bruckler, our Chief Executive for Gbslep. Always correct yourself. A great update there and a really busy year. And congratulations indeed to our executive team who've shown great resilience at a time when they've faced huge uncertainty. So a huge congratulations to the team. But we are here to serve our residents and our communities, and that's really what has motivated and kept us determined over the last 12 months. We have a few questions which have been asked over the last few weeks from some of our businesses and our partners. Can I start off with you first of all, Henrietta? Shall I call you Hen? We're used to calling you Hen, aren't we? You spoke a bit about business support there, and we really need to land the message that business support will continue, won't it?
I think you've answered the question, Satnam. Absolutely, we are so pleased to say that not only will business support continue, it'll actually be the same individuals, the tried and trusted team that has been doing this since 2015 will move across the City Council, Birmingham City Council, and will seamlessly continue to support the businesses in our local community. So we're very much hoping that although this feels like a big change to us, this won't feel like a big change to the businesses out there.
Absolutely. Do head over to the Business Growth West Midlands website to access those services. Talking about businesses, as a LEP, we have been very, very clear about bringing the public and the private and the academic sectors and really giving a voice to our smaller businesses. They've been at the heart of our decision making as well. We've been very business led. So what happens next? Will those same businesses get a voice at the table, Anita?
I think this is a challenge. I think it's a challenge that we need to throw out to everybody who's interested in making small businesses grow and making our region more prosperous. We've had discussions with Andy Street, the Combined Authority. We've had some assurances. The 3 LEP chairs have been lobbying the Combined Authority to say, look, can you make sure the voice of small businesses isn't forgotten around that table? But more important, or no, as importantly, it's education, higher education, further education. We've given that sector a voice that didn't exist before. So whoever takes this on, whether it's the Chamber, the Combined Authority, local authorities, don't forget neighbourhoods, communities and education, as well as small businesses.
Thank you. So the next big question, we are broadcasting live here from B Music Limited, and we put £6 million into the regeneration of the public spaces here. To the left of us, we've got Centenary Square again. We've injected circa £10 million into the square and its regeneration, another £2 million or just under over at the Rep. And then, of course, we've got Paradise just down the way as well. So we've seen some huge transformative changes across the cityscape. What happens to these projects? Because not all of them are complete, are they?
So if I can answer that question, Satnam, again, I'm really pleased to say that these projects and these investments will not end just because Gbslep closes its doors. We've transferred the programmes, the records, the staff, even the governance structure to Birmingham City Council, and it's very clear that the enterprise zone will not be allowed to lose momentum.
And what have we done as an organisation to ensure that the LEP's money, because we had government grants and then we've had revenue funding as well, how do we ensure that whatever's left gets put to good use?
Okay, I mean, we've because we've been so prudent, we have got a surplus. What we've decided to do as a board is to ensure that that money is allocated to our 9 local authorities that we've worked with. So over time, that money will be allocated, and it's for projects that we as a board have championed for many, many years. It's about youth skills, about investment, about regenerating people and places. So that money will be invested. I would urge those local authorities and those still carrying on and the Combined Authority to make sure we're always on the front foot to look at where other grants are coming down, either through levelling up structures or European, anywhere, to make sure as a region that we're there, that the work, we've always been on the front foot to look where those grants are. So let's keep on looking for those.
Absolutely. Now, you may have seen a piece of paper waving across the background. It is live, as I said. One of our board directors, Councillor Ian Courts, the leader of Solihull Metropolitan Borough Council, has just passed a note over to ask about the importance of climate change. We have put that at the heart of our strategy here at Gbslep, certainly over the last 18 months or so, with the delivery, as you heard, of the Clean Growth Grant. Will there be a commitment for this to continue in the future? I mean, I don't know how best placed we are to answer this question, but to what extent have we got a commitment to continue this? Perhaps.
I would like to answer that question, because I think I very much appreciate Councillor Court's comment and question in this context, because I think it's fair to say that even until very recently, with resources that were declining, we've made sure that sustainable growth and clean growth has continued to be a real priority for us, not just in terms of words on paper and in strategies, but actually by allocating funding and allocating recycled funding. And that includes the whole house retrofit pilot in East Birmingham, that includes the Clean Growth Grant that I mentioned. And I think although it wouldn't be for us to confirm here the commitment of other organisations, we have made sure that the lessons we've learned over time have been very much shared. And for example, the Clean Growth program is eminently scalable, so we've made really sure that others, such as the combined authority and the local authorities in these areas, are aware. And I'm actually really pleased to state that several of the local authorities are now preparing their own version of that Clean Growth program.
Thank you, Hen, and thank you, Councillor Ian Courts as well, who is our climate change champion on the GBSLEP board, and really important actually to attribute to the GBSLEP all of the advancements we've made in this area through the interventions that we've been created. And actually this morning, I think in my inbox, something landed around a Clean Growth grant with one of the northern LEPs. Of course, a lot of the LEPs are looking at how they can finish off spending their funding. Anita?
On that clean growth and net zero, it's not just big industry, small industry that we've engaged. We know that with our arts and culture sector here, the creative industries, we've also, as a LEP, set out challenges and programme and pilots with that sector to say, you know, whether you're working in culture, arts or the creative industries, net zero is as important to you as it is if you're running a factory or a school.
And I really do maybe want to round off with our other strategic priority as well over the last year, which has been young people. We had some really difficult and eye-opening conversations around the board table when we were emerging from the pandemic and the several lockdowns we had, and the possibility, the real possibility of young people who were adversely affected by the pandemic really losing out. We've done a lot to address that as well, haven't we?
Absolutely, Satnam. I think the board has got very passionate about their commitment to trying to support the young people in this region who've been so set back really by not just the pandemic, but particularly the lockdowns and then the aftermath of that. And we produced a strategy in 2022, a young people strategy called Youth Matter. But it wasn't just a strategy. Again, we found funding to support activity to help young people into apprenticeships. We undertook the reverse mentoring pilot, as I mentioned earlier, and very recently we supported a range of projects that help young people develop the skills they need to develop the career and the life really of their choice and to achieve their potential.
Henrietta, thank you very much. So I think this brings us to the close of our AGM. I don't have any more questions or comments in the Q&A function on this webinar. No, just checking. Brilliant. So yes, that brings us to the end of our AGM, our final AGM for 2023. We have been absolutely honoured to have had the privilege of serving our city region, our people and our businesses, and we hope that we have created the positive change that we set out to do back in 2010 and 2011. You can find the latest update on the last 12 months on our website under the annual report section. This meeting will be also relayed back on our website in days to come as well. So all that remains from us to be said is thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for being part of our journey over the last decade or so as well. And we really do hope you continue to work together to create that positive change that every person and every business deserves in our city region. Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.